Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has admitted that over $100 billion in US aid, that's taxpayers' money, has vanished into thin air. So, surprise, surprise, it turns out that this proxy war with the West was indeed the most murderous, indefensible, biggest money laundering operation in history. I'm Bev Turner, and this is GBN Originals. So these revelations about a mystery missing $100 billion come straight from Zelensky himself in an interview with the Associated Press.
Я коли чую, і раніше чув, і сьогодні ми чуємо від Сполучених Штатів Америки, що Америка дала Україні сотні мільярдів, 177, якщо сказати більш точно. Така звучала точна цифра, яку підтримували або голосував Конгрес, тощо різні організації. Дивіться, я як президент воюючої країни вам говорю, ми отримали більше 75. Тобто 100 мільярдів з цих 177 або 200, говорять навіть деякі люди, ми ніколи не отримували. І це важливо.
Joe Biden, otherwise known as the big guy in need of his 10%, swore for years that every penny was accounted for, that Ukraine was a noble cause worth our billions of dollars and British pounds. Now, with Trump back in office, the curtain has been pulled back, and what we're seeing is a cesspool of corruption, mismanagement, and what looks increasingly like money washing on an unfathomable scale. And it is Zelensky himself who is raising the alarm. Curious that. So the numbers do not add up. Let's break this down. Since 2022, US Congress authorised $177 billion for Ukraine, but Zelensky says that his country only received $75 to $76 billion. Now, call me a penny pincher, but that means that a staggering $100 billion of American taxpayers' money has evaporated. Where has it gone? And can British taxpayers be confident that our money tap hasn't also been filling gold-plated baths in Eastern Europe and possibly America too? Over $70 billion arrived on Ukrainian soil as hardcore weaponry, not cash. But even here, discrepancies arise. US defence contractors reportedly pocketed billions for logistics and oversight. Now, I'm sure you need to be paid well to make sure that tanks and guns arrive on time. It's not like your Amazon delivery man taking a bad photo of you in a dressing gown on your doorstep. But still, who has pocketed the delivery fee?
Бо ми отримали це не грошима, а зброєю. Ми зброю отримали на 70 з чимось мільярдів. Є навчання, тренування, є додатковий транспорт, є не тільки ціну на зброю, були гуманітарні програми, соціальні тощо. Але коли говорять, що Україна під час війни отримала 200 мільярдів на підтримку армії тощо, це неправда. Я не знаю, де всі ці гроші.
Humanitarian programs. Let's look at these. Zelensky admits that $300 to $400 million meant for energy, healthcare and border security was frozen by Trump's aid review. But he's unaware of other programs, raising the questions. Who approved these funds? Who managed them? The $200 billion mystery. This is what Trump and VP J.D. Vance have repeatedly cited, $200 billion as a total aid figure. Zelensky calls this not true, yet he cannot explain why US agencies like USAID, now under audit by Trump's DOGE department led by Elon Musk, authorised such sums without Kiev's knowledge. So we're left with two possibilities. Either the US government lied about how much it sent, or someone, or multiple someones, stole the difference. The US Congress rubber-stamped $113.4 billion for Ukraine under Biden, with the EU adding 85 billion euros and Britain a mere 12 billion pounds of taxpayer money. There was all this rhetoric about defending democracy, which basically masked a blank cheque for defence contractors and oligarchs. Promised audits by USAID and the Pentagon never materialised. Requests for spending records were met with silence or redactions. Why did this admission come from Zelensky only after Trump took office? Well, that is because the Biden administration, NATO allies and complicit media outlets have spent more than 2 years suppressing dissent. As one whistleblower noted, they didn't want you asking why Kiev's elites were buying Monaco villas while their soldiers died in Soviet-era gear. This isn't just about numbers. It's about lives destroyed on both sides of the Atlantic. Frontline soldiers in Ukraine given rifles from the 1970s and expired rations, while commanders were allegedly sold Western-supplied drones on Telegram. Only 14% of promised humanitarian aid reached besieged cities like Mariupol, according to internal EU documents. And in Britain? Well, we have a shocking NHS crisis at the moment. And that £12 billion sent to Ukraine equals the annual salaries of 45,000 nurses, which could be enough to eliminate NHS waiting lists in England. For years, questioning this spending got you labelled a Putin puppet. Well, once again now, the truth is out. The Biden team and media amplified curated stories of Ukrainian heroism while burying reports of corruption. And of course, there were examples of Ukrainian heroism from the soldiers on the ground, not the people at the top creaming off the money. Social media platforms suppressed where did the money go under misinformation hashtag policies. Banks froze accounts of journalists investigating aid diversion, citing national security. And outlets like the BBC parroted Pentagon press releases verbatim. When asked about oversight, they pivoted to brave resistance narratives. This wasn't journalism. It was a $100 billion infomercial paid for by you, the American and British taxpayers. The new administration must act decisively in the US. They need to subpoena bank records from BlackRock, JP Morgan, and Deutsche Bank, primarily conduits for aid funds. They need to deploy blockchain analysts to trace cryptocurrency transfers linked to Ukrainian officials. And they need to target American and EU officials who waived due diligence. The Foreign Corrupt Practices Act allows prosecuting foreign bribery. Hunter Biden's Burisma ties, of course, are just the tip of the iceberg. And they need to repatriate funds, seize assets of corrupt oligarchs, Ukrainian and Western individuals under RICO statutes. They need to redirect reclaimed billions to British infrastructure and tax cuts. To those who say, but Britain must support allies. We did. We have. We're £12 billion down. And what do we have for it? £12 billion, guess what? Could resurface every pothole, every road in England twice. It's 40% of the annual police budget amid a shoplifting epidemic. It is enough to slash VAT on household utilities for 10 years. And I'm not saying that British taxpayers don't want to support Ukrainian people. We just have to see transparency and value for money. Let's not mince words here. Ukraine has long been a kleptocracy. Former Polish Deputy Minister Peter Kulpa alleges that 30 to 50% of Western aid was embezzled, with stolen funds potentially financing shady systems under Democratic Party control. This isn't just about Ukraine. It's about American leaders, Biden, Harris, Blinken, using a war zone as their personal ATM. And when Trump dared to question it, they smeared him as a Putin puppet. Sounds familiar? Yes, it does. It's straight from the propaganda playbook. President Trump's return has blown this scandal wide open, and about time too. Within days of taking office, he froze all foreign aid for a 90-day audit. He disbanded USAID, folding it into the State Department. He sent inspectors to track every dollar. The result? Well, Zelensky and his regime are panicking. Without US cash flow, Ukraine's budget deficit, already at a $40 billion, could collapse its war effort. But Trump's message is clear. America first isn't a slogan. It's a reckoning. Now, why does this matter to Great Britain? Well, our government, as I've said, have spent more than £12 billion in Ukraine since 2022. And if the US can't account for $100 billion, how much of our money has vanished into oligarchs' pockets? Rishi Sunak promised transparency. Well, where's the audit, Keir Starmer? Where is the audit on where that money has gone? The same non-governmental organisations and contractors siphoning US aid were likely handling British funds too. So the bigger picture is that this is a war that was built on lies from the start. And it's not just about missing money. It's about a manufactured narrative. The Biden administration sold Ukraine as a fight for democracy and the right thing to do to put Putin in his place. But behind closed doors, weapons meant for Kiev were reportedly ending up with Hamas and Hezbollah. Can they prove to us that that didn't happen? Humanitarian aid funded NGOs tied to Hunter Biden's Burisma dealings are involved in this. Media outlets parroted Pentagon talking points, dismissing skeptics as Russian assets. Well, it's a bit like, isn't it? Iraq's weapons of mass destruction, Afghanistan's nation building, same playbook, different disaster, different deaths. Zelensky's admission isn't just a scandal. It should be a wake-up call. Yet again, this should be on the front page of every paper. And it isn't. It's left to me here on GBN Originals to raise the alarm call. Western elites exploited a war to line their pockets, betrayed their citizens, and left Ukraine to be destroyed and burnt to the ground. Trump's audit will expose the rot, but we here in Britain must demand answers too. Meanwhile, Kyiv's Mayor Klitschko just purchased £50 million London penthouse down the road from where I sit now. Maybe it's just a coincidence. This scandal transcends politics. It's about whether governments exist to serve citizens or to loot us. The age of blind trust is over. Trump in America and the British public here are all demanding transparency now over tyranny and truth over propaganda. So hopefully fewer innocent young lives are lost and fairness is victorious. Do you agree? Let me know in the comments below. Well, this has been me, Bev Turner. Don't forget to subscribe to GB News' YouTube channel for more. Stay vigilant and I'll see you next time.